The Lakers just robbed the Brooklyn Nets as they pull off a massive trade acquiring Dorian Finney-Smith from the Brooklyn Nets, and they did not have to give up a first-round pick. We're going to break down the trade, discuss who is going out, and discuss what this means for the future of the Los Angeles Lakers. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. A quick reminder, make sure to hit the subscribe button before you get into it. The Lakers are going to be making more moves. This is just the beginning, and Hunter, they made a huge trade this morning out of a bit of a surprising move. A report literally came out that they were going to wait until the deadline to make their big splash, and then out of left field here, they traded for Dorian Finney-Smith. And there's a lot of things to discuss here, but you can see the trade here. D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis in 3 seconds to the Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. So, Hunter, we've had a few minutes here to kind of discuss it and figure out what the Lakers are planning to do with this. They gave up 3 seconds, and they got off of the salary of D'Lo. And in exchange, they got a very good 3-and-D wing.
I think getting Dorian Finney-Smith is crazy in itself, Nick, but the way they got him without giving up a first-round pick, which it seemed like the Brooklyn Nets were insistent on getting a first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith. They end up saving money because the Lakers, had to save money in order to make a trade. So they save money. They get a starter-level player, not only a starter, but a guy they desperately needed. They have not had the type of player like a Dorian Finney-Smith who can not only shoot 43% from three, but also can guard your team's best perimeter player on offense. So the fact that they got someone like him, he's got 35 games of playoff experience as well, mainly with the Dallas Mavericks, not the Nets. They're pretty bad. But he's someone who's a plug-and-play guy, fits perfectly next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I am still absolutely shocked, Nick, especially when you read that report that it seemed like the Lakers weren't going to make a move. Historically, over the last couple of years, they have not made a move. And yet they make perhaps the biggest trade of the season so far.
Yeah, it's a huge trade, and there's a few different ways to go about it. We had multiple videos. You had videos, I had videos about how the Knicks were insistent on getting a first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, the D'Angelo Russell thing we'll dive into because he was an okay player for the Lakers. Lots of ups and downs surrounding D'Lo there. But at the end of the day, the Lakers got exactly what they needed. And you look at him this season, he's shooting a career high in 5.4 attempts from three, shooting a career high percentage. He is a very good 3-and-D wing player. You mentioned it. He played for the Mavericks for most of his career and then obviously got, shipped to Brooklyn. This season, it's probably the best season of his career, at least since his 2021 season. 10 points a game. He can rebound well. He's a very good defender, but most importantly, he is going to be the best three-point shooter on the Los Angeles Lakers. And what that means for LeBron, what that means for AD, and how their starting lineup. JJ Redick now has a ton of options to kind of work around the starting lineup. But it's a huge trade for the Los Angeles Lakers. One I didn't think they were actually going to be able to pull off because there was times where the Brooklyn Nets were asking for a first-round pick. They're asking. They also have Cam Johnson, who they're trying to ship off. They're looking for multiple firsts or a first and a young asset. They were able to get one of the top, and again, for any 3-and-D player, every team in the league that is competing, and with the play-in now, there's tons of teams trying to get into the playoffs. Every team would have wanted this guy, and they outbid everybody else. And I guess the 3 second-rounders and D'Lo did it, and maybe the Nets will try to ship off D'Lo to another team for some sort of draft compensation. But at the end of the day, you look at how it impacts the salary. It gives them some. LA creates salary and luxury tax flexibility, saving $15 million. So not only are they getting the player they wanted, they're also saving some money in the process.
I think that's the craziest part here because when it comes to a trade, Nick, you have to give up something to get something in return. Dorian Finney-Smith was valued by so many teams. We just made a video hours ago about how it seemed like the Memphis Grizzlies had the lead in terms of getting him. There were even players discussed. It was Luke Kennard, it was John Conchar, and multiple second-round picks. But I guess an expiring contract like D'Angelo Russell, a young project like a Maxwell Lewis, that was more enticing to the Brooklyn Nets. They got 3 second-round picks, which the fact the Lakers didn't even give up one, I don't know if it's because Finney-Smith is going to be 31 years old. Perhaps him being a little bit older was making teams hesitant to give up a first-round pick. But in the Western Conference, it is extremely tight race. I mean, outside the Thunder in first place, 2nd through 12, it can really probably move throughout the rest of the regular season. Lakers right now are in 6th right now. The fact that they get a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, who, like you said, Nick, is the perfect fit. This is the player that the Lakers have needed for so long. And Rob Pelinka finally figures it out. These are the type of players that the Lakers had when they won their championship back in 2020. They finally get that version of a player in Dorian Finney-Smith. And I guess that also brings up the question, Nick, too. Is this going to start a domino effect for trades across the NBA? We saw Dennis Schroeder, also a former Brooklyn Net, go to the Golden State Warriors. And are the Lakers done? Are they going to keep making more moves too? Because, they can get a little bit greedy here now too. And they still have both their first round picks to trade to try to get another player.
Yeah, you can also see I've had the stats on the screen for Shake Milton as well, who has been at times a very valuable role player for the Philadelphia 76ers, obviously back a few years ago. But this season, kind of having a bit of a resurgence here, putting up 7 points. And again, this isn't going to be the guy everyone's talking about in the trade, but it is still worth a mention. He's averaging 7 points. And the Lakers bench, I think JJ Redick's willing to try a bunch of different things. They don't really have a solidified. I mean, guys are up and down. Now we see D'Lo gone, and I think more trades are going to come for the Lakers and also, of course, across the NBA. They still have their first-round picks, so it's not like they gave up 3 of the first-round picks that Shams came out a few days ago and said they were willing to give up in a trade. So what that means is, at least to me, more moves are certainly going to be coming for this team. And as you look at the depth chart now, it becomes very interesting. And shout out to ESPN. It's already updated without D'Angelo Russell, so they're on the ball pretty quick here. And I want to ask you, regarding the D'Lo side, obviously you can kind of give your thoughts on the experiment with D'Lo, and especially this season. We saw early in the season when JJ Redick benched D'Lo, he was calling out D'Lo for his lack of hustle, defense, attention to details. Now you have to assume Dorian Finney-Smith, at least one would, that he would be in the starting lineup. But I guess there's a world as well where, according to this projection, the ESPN one, he's the second, string. It depends. Rui's been playing very well. He's obviously not a very different player than Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith gives you the defense. Rui Hachimura gives you explosiveness offensively. How do you see JJ Redick using these guys? Maybe they go huge and play all of them, have Max Christie on the bench. We know that JJ Redick has rocked a bunch of different lineups this season with LeBron in. When LeBron's in his absence, they had Gabe Vincent, of course, Dalton Connect. But now they have a ton of opportunity here to rock with it. And I think Dorian's probably going to factor into the starting lineup, but who knows what JJ is going to do. It could be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I do also like the point you bring up, Shake Milton. Like, he's not someone to just sniff your nose at. Like, he's a solid depth piece for the Lakers. And in an 82-game season, you need those type of guys. He's going to give you minutes, and he's probably going to play right away on this team. Now, I think maybe seeing Austin Reaves get 16 assists, a career high last night, maybe that gave JJ Redick and this front office more confidence that Austin Reaves can be your starting point guard for this team. He's had some turnover issues, but you know how talented of a playmaker he is. This is probably the most we've ever seen him on the ball, which I think was JJ's plan and the Lakers' future plans. And trading a guy like D'Angelo Russell really just puts Austin Reaves in that position even more. And like you said, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're going to start. Austin Reaves is going to start. I assume if you make a big move for Dorian Finney-Smith, he's also going to be in the starting lineup, also because he gives you that size and versatility and three-point shooting that the Lakers desperately need right now. So it comes down to Max Christie or Rui Hachimura. Do you go super big? You play Dorian Finney-Smith almost as your two guard, and you have Rui Hachimura out there to keep the shooting and the offensive ability out there? Or do you bring Max Christie into the starting lineup as well? Now you have two very solid perimeter defenders. And like I said, Nick, there might be another move that's going to be had. So this, whether Finney-Smith starts or not, or if it's Christie, is it Hachimura, there might be another move on the horizon. And if there is, we will cover it here.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of moves. And let us know down below who you think and what do you think the starting lineup is going to look like. And also, assuming Gabe Vincent remains in the team over the next few weeks, might have a bit more of an elevated role, even though he started off really rough, started to get it back a little bit. We saw him with the Heat be really solid. And if he can be that backup point guard to Austin Reaves and, of course, LeBron playing point forward, it'll be very interesting. But let us know down below what your thoughts are on this trade. It was an unexpected one, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you guys later.